look at today. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you an option here. You can use my lighting room, or remember the assignment where you had to bring in your assets to build up a bedroom or living room or something like that. I'm going to allow you to use that, but it has to be an enclosed room, meaning you have to have a floor, you have to have walls, for at least minimum four walls and a ceiling. Okay. Preferably you want to have something that has windows or whatever. So the light can actually get into the space. Um, you will need to drop in a one other asset, and it doesn't have to be something brought in from Maya. It could be an asset that you just use or prop from within Unreal, maybe a cube or sphere, because you're going to need to use that sphere to set up an emissive. Okay, well, and I'll show you what I mean in just a little bit. But I'll change the assignment up a little bit and to allow you to do that. I did record the other day. I just haven't uploaded it. I need to check something on that vid. And as soon as I get that vid, I'll get it uploaded for those that need it. Not sure if you need it because some of you have already been uploading work in progress, which is looking pretty good, not bad. Let me take a look at some of them. Yeah. Remember, when you are posting up your work in progress, press the G key to remove to toggle the lights icons on and off. Okay, you can do that. And just looking over some of these, Jelani, honestly, set, that first render up, you were the first one to post. That one looks a little bit better than the last one. Yeah, I would change a few things if you're in here. So, um, other than that, let's go ahead and jump into it. Any questions about anything that I covered in the last demo? No, no one has anything. Okay. So,
I do have a question about something you wrote on your lighting notes, but not the class demo.
what did I write?
You in the notes you talk about post process volume under place actors. I don't know if that was just like my computer, but like my version of Unreal didn't have that under place actors. Like I'd search it and there nothing would just pop up.
Post process just like that? Can you see that screen?
Yeah,
Huh.
I see it on yours, but I don't know why mine didn't. I can
Huh.
try to restart it or go to a different computer
No,
next time, but
no,
like it just wouldn't pop up.
no, don't do that. Let's try checking the plugins because it may be something in the plugins. Post process material. That's not it. That's interesting. So you should have, what version of Unreal are you using?
I was using 5.5.4.
Huh. Same one. Yeah. You should have a post process. Anyone else having that issue? No one else is having that issue. Okay. Let me check one other area. Think about here. So you didn't have that. Did you look it up by chance? Did you try to search it out online?
Yeah, I mostly saw other people just say it was under place actors, but like it just wouldn't pop up for me.
But not pop up. Check. There's the panel. There's the lighting. There's supposed to be another area for you to, so you can bring up or look for that volumes. Let's check volume. There it is right there. Go to, or you have Unreal open right now?
Nah, but I'll take notes.
Yeah, this is where if you look here, and right now, basically, go to the little box with the plus there. Go into lighting, not lighting, I'm sorry, just there. This is a place actor here. So you can get into pretty much, you can add pretty much anything that you need here. Objects, lights, all this good stuff here. Go into the volume and see if you see post process volume right there. And if you see it there, you should be good. If you don't see it there, that means something did not install correctly in your version of Unreal. You may want to reinstall or look for an update.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Did, are the notes helping?
Yes, very.
Okay, I know. I'm sorry about my handwriting. I'm sorry about that. Hopefully everything is also there. I did notice something on my personal notes. There was a number missing on one of the parameters. And just assume that that value is going to be like 0.5 or something like that if you come across it. Okay, what I need to do is find open project. More lighting. Don't save. Let's let this thing reopen. So in the meantime, while that is happening, anyone else have any questions? Or you all are experts at everything at this stuff right now, so you know. It's crazy. I had to mention this last night in my character class that no one asks questions. Everyone's an expert. It's all good though. Wrong one. Crap. This is not the right project. Oh boy. Good freaking well, I did not overwrite that project. Does that say 3-point lighting setup? I think this is the one I literally just opened. Unless you're there. Let me open up you. Let's see. Let me give you a bit of advice on going forward. When you take my classes or any one of your instructors' classes, here's what you all need to do. I don't know if some of your instructors are going to time bomb their content, meaning, yeah, I think this is it. Meaning, yeah, just don't have the lighting set up on it. Give me just a second. Oh yeah, I'll use this one. Forget it. I'll just use this one. Meaning that all the assignments are visible. I don't do that. Okay. Um in on iCollege but majority of the time since you have the syllabus, you can sort of start your research, your investigation on this stuff a little early. You want to get into the habit of doing that type of stuff. Um so if, for example, last week, if you know that 3-point lighting is coming up, start doing research on 3-point lighting so you can come in with questions. Okay, pretty much. And even though I do a demo on a Monday, give a demo on Monday, days like today, Wednesday, you should have questions because none of you're just going through the motions of doing and doing the things that I did inside of the demo, but you're not asking questions as to why. Why? Every time you see someone give whether it's a tutorial or whatever, or a workshop, ask yourself, why is he doing it that way? Are there other methodologies out there that you can go through to complete that thing? If you see, experiment a little bit, and if you run into problems, that is where your problems are going to lead you into investigating those issues. And then when you can't solve those problems through your investigation, that's when you want to really start asking more questions. Because I'm telling you, and just looking over some of the stuff that most of you are submitting, you are just going through the motions. Some of you are going really just going through the motions, but you need to ask yourself why. Has anyone out experimented with some of the other lights? Even though I say, yeah, it's the area light, use the area light. Have any of you experimented with using the area lights? Why am I using the area lights over a spotlight? What are the benefits? So what are the pros and cons to each light? Okay. Um, all these other three light type, static, stationary, and movable, what are they? Have you gone online and researched this stuff out? And those are the things I'm talking about. I'm glad I did this because look, lighting needs to be rebuilt. This is what I was saying the other day. So depending on the type of light we're using, there may be a light in this scene that is not a movable light. And if even if it is, or I did something previously, yeah, I did something in this scene previously that may require that these lights be rebuilt, or depending on the version, this could be the version of Unreal that I'm using that requires me to rebuild these lights. So if you ever get that little notice right there, go to build, and you can build lights only. It's going to run through the process. And yeah, Swarm is going to come up. This is their agent to, I can't remember what Swarm is there, but there's something out there called Swarm. Looks like what are you doing? Rebuild them. Thank you. I think Swarm is part of their compiler, as you can see. There you go. So this is a older one. So let's real quick, let me just get into this whole light linking thing. I also put a camera in the scene. So the camera sees is we can see what the camera sees. There's not a renderer set up. That's gonna be on Monday. We'll get into that, how to render out your environments. But this is what you can't just set up a camera, just place a camera in here. You could go over to place actor, look up camera, and then position it so you can sort of get an idea. And then the camera is also going to, under the details, you're going to get the parameters for setting up those cameras. So crop factors, all this good jazz here. So that's where you can make those changes there. To get off of that, just click off of it. Okay, so I have a camera in the scene. So again, if you press the G key, it'll turn off the icons. You tap it again, it'll bring them back. All right, so in details, all we need to search for is our channels. And this is where the magic happens there for each light. So let's just check something. Directional light, let's turn those off. My HDRI backdrop, I'm gonna turn that off. Skylight, temporarily I'm gonna turn that off. And then I have these lights here, see that? Okay, so I have these lights in the scene here. Let's turn them all off to make sure something here is still illuminating. There we go. So we have that background light. So say I'm gonna turn these lights back on, reflector and all this good stuff. So say I have, yeah, I have a reflector in the scene. So basically you can light also, there it is. That's the emissive. You can, I showed you this inside of Maya. You can do the exact same thing here. So the background light, there is a background light there too, but I can just light with the reflector, or I can light with using an emissive, or I can light also with a direct light. Okay, that's what's happening there. This lighting could be better. This is not that great there. So we have the little chrome balls there, and I'm sort of seeing that, yeah, it's definitely, I could do some more work here. But I turn those lights off. I want to exclude the background. So I'm going to select that background light and see right there, this channel 0 is pretty much everything. So that background light, if I turn it off, something else is being lit here. Let's turn that off too. Let's turn all of these off. Yeah. See what's happening? And what else is lighting this shot? Something else in here. Is it the reflector? Yeah, it might be the reflector. I'm gonna turn it off. There we go. Let's turn it back on so I can see where I'm going first. Then turn it on. All right, so the background. So with the background selected, if I hit here, it's gonna turn that on. But the only drawback is I don't want it to illuminate um, these objects. I only want it to illuminate that backdrop right there. So let me make sure I'm doing this correct. Background light, channel. There it is. So channel 1, it's channel 0 is going to pretty much it's going to illuminate everything, and we don't want everything illuminated. I only want to illuminate just the backdrop there and see what that it does. Can be a little confusing. I wish they had a better system for this, like by name, so we can put objects in here, and then I can just tell it, hey, I don't want this particular light to illuminate this that particular thing or whatever. Does this you understand what I just did here? Because they want to see what's happening. So you only get these 3 channels there. All right, so I would have to go through for the other lights and tell them what I want them to illuminate. Because again, there's no indicator of what the objects are. I think I can select the objects and tell it which objects I want to be illuminated by what. So you see there, I'm just gonna select those 3, go into the key, and then tell the key, not channel 1. Which one is it? Nope. Let's do 0. And this, oh, turn it on, turn it on, turn it on, turn it on. So there's the light right there under channel 1 for this particular thing there. We don't have to worry about 2. Take the fill, channel 1. There it is again. And you notice that it's only illuminating the backdrop. I wonder if because I had that backdrop selected, so we're only illuminating that backdrop, and that's not what I want there. So let me select all of these, all of these. Let's go here. There it is. So that's kind of how that's going to work there. So I'm telling it which channel I want it to illuminate there. Okay, it can be a little confusing, but one is object, and then I believe one is light centric and one is object centric, just depending on which one, what you select. So there's the rim. The rim now is going to affect on channel 1 the background. So the background is also going to be affected there. But if I come here, there it is. See that? On the channel 1. Channel 0, everything else is inside of there except for that particular thing. A little confusing. There's a video out there I can probably grab for you to upload it, but that's how you do that particular thing there. Make sure I have, let's turn everything back on. And I'm not using channel 2. So fill light, oh, rim light, key light. And I don't know if the key is illuminating or sending out anything. So see, that's taking it back. It's illuminating the and look, technically I want this to hit the ground plane, so the field, the key, and the rim. I want them to do that. It's the only light that I don't want that to happen is going to be that top light right there. I only want it to illuminate. See, it shouldn't be affecting it. It still is. You can sort of see it right there. So you just got to figure out. It's a little, like I said, it's a little confusing, but I wish it was a little bit better there. Okay, but just play around with that. And again, I do have a video that I can post about. I'll post that video up. It's a YouTube video from that someone sort of goes into detail um, about how to do that. So, all right, let's go hit this other one. Let's try to get this done. Yeah, it's confusing. Because this doesn't tell you anything. It really doesn't tell you enough. What channels? Channel zero is supposed to be for everything. Yay, great. Channel zero is for everything else. But see now with that background light off, it's not illuminating the background anymore. That's on channel one. So you see how that sort of worked. Everything else is being affected. And even if I turn that one off, so that background light should not be hitting these other objects there. So it's crazy, and that's kind of how Unreal works. I think they need a better system here for that. Recent set lighting. Mm-mm. And so let me go to the back end and show you what we're going to get into today. This is the little environment. Okay, this is simple little room. Pretty much be anything. And again, look, we're going to use direct lights and indirect lighting today. As you can see, we have our chrome ball, the black sphere, the gray, and then the white ball here. Okay, we have those. Um, we have a process volume. You already understand that process volume. Or, I'm sorry, post volume there, post process volume. And this thing is just sitting on a simple little plane. This is being lit with direct lights, as you can see, to push lighting into the rooms through a window, the skylight, pushing lights there. You're gonna set up the same thing, and let's check to make sure that I can play from here. Yep, so I can play, and I should be able to run into this room. Say hey, and we also are lighting the environment using emissive. Press F to frame up. We're using, see, just these simple little shapes can be used to light your environment, just like that. I have a few different ones in here too. Let's take a look at another one. See there? Same one, just different environment or different type of lighting. We're also going to be using the HDRI. So that's the very first thing I need to go ahead and walk you through is how to showcase your HDRI backdrop, because you right now may not have it there under your lighting. You may not see it when you go to place actor. So what you want to do is you need to go into plugins first. Now, all of this stuff, this environmental stuff, you have to have the lumen set up. So the exact same setup that we use for the 3-point light rig, you want to make sure that with lumen, you want to make sure lumen is turned on. But you may not see the HDRI backdrop. So what I need to do is find that HDRI. You need to make sure that is turned on. If it's not turned on, go ahead and turn it on, and then it's going to ask you to restart. I hate that that's the case, that you have to do that, but that is what you have to do there. Okay, so let's go in to the basic. And before I do that, this is basically what is happening is we have a backdrop. We're using HDRI images. I'll probably go to Polyhaven and pull a new one down. Let me do that right quick. I have a folder full of these things. I just don't have to search for it right quick. So So over here on Polyhaven, let me pull it over. This has been acting up. I'm gonna grab, and this is what I'm gonna want you to do. I'm gonna want you to grab two HDRIs and just and your rendered. I want you to test these things just to play around with it. I want a night one. See, my mouse is crazy. I want a night one and I want a daytime one. So I think this is the one that we were, no, this is the one that we were using last time. So, what is this one? Shanghai. Too much lighting going on in that one. The church might be good. I think I already have it. I think also, hold on, my mouse is wigging out. So when you're running Unreal, for some odd reason, when I'm running Unreal, my system, my mouse starts to do some crazy crap. Um, I think it's time to change my RT. I have a 3090 Ti, and I think it's going to be time to go ahead and get that other card soon. So I'm going to go here and let's download it. And let's find another one. Mm-mm. Nighttime outdoors. Ooh, let's see, the Milky Way. Let's take that one. Yours do not have to be the exact same. Take that one. And then let's do a daytime. Studio, indoor, sky, outdoor. Something that is pretty, I don't mind the sunlight. Any questions while I'm looking? Derelict airfield.
I did have a question.
You go ahead.
So yesterday, on the like peer review thing, you said mine was too warm. What why is that an issue?
Give me a second. Mm. Yeah. Looking at yours right now. Let me go over here to it. You can see that.
Mm-hmm.
That is, you want a good balance there. What you really want is this should stay grayish
Or
in color and tone. Um, why did I just close that? Are you guys still there? Can you still hear me?
yeah.
Okay, hey, it was my mistake. The wrong one. You see how Kate? See that one? That is a good balance. We have cool. We have warm. Um, there's still a little flat on the rim a little bit, but this was not bad. Yours is a little oversaturated with just too much warm light. That's what's
Okay.
happening there. Yeah, you're pushing that ring right there. That's going to be a problem. You may want to take whoever this is, pull that light back, but you're getting a little too warm there. It's not bad, but when you are lighting, you want to sort of keep it like that. So it's not bad. This is the only problem I see here is there is the material that you're using, Jelani. I'm sorry, Jelani. The material that you're using has the roughness is set up, or you have metallic, some sort of metallic something on it. So cool light, warm light. This is nice. This is why we use that medium gray for this type of thing. Prime example of, and yeah, this one Floyd is getting a little bit too warm too. Okay, that's really warm, earth tonish. So it's overly saturated there, and looking there, you can see it here. Okay, you're gonna start lose, especially you're gonna start losing. We see the highlights. You have some good stuff there. Shadows should be yeah, you're overly saturated where your intensity is set up too high also because we still want some dynamic shadows. We're getting a little bit here, nice blend of shadows, but choose a cooler color on one side and reduce. So the key light seems to be that should may be really warm. Looks like your top down light also is really warm. Um, what I would do is just play around with that a little bit more. and bring that down. You want to try to make those as you want to leave it there within there, but see that is really warm. That gray right there,
Yeah.
you want your objects to also be gray.
So you want it like it's okay to be warm, but just not to the point where it like gets rid of the original color on the
Yes,
object.
yes,
Gotcha.
exactly. So you're overly saturated, and that's going to cause a problem, and that's going
Yeah.
to require a lot of post processing, a lot of color correcting, and all.
Gotcha.
Just like Carissa, you and I mentioned this to you, you're blown out. That is really, really blown out, really intense. We can't make out the backdrop. We can make out the shapes, but that is overly blown out. Look at that highlight. It's blooming, a little bit too intense right there, and that is not even coming from the key. That's coming from the top down light, looks like. Okay, something like that. Everyone else, yeah, Caden, nice start. Yeah, this one, I think you're going backwards a little bit. So as you can see, you're going backwards. So you kind of want to. This is neutral, but a little bit too cool. Okay, so that the field and the key, they may be showing the same values. No, they don't, because you got too much blue right there. That's way too much blue going on right there. You want to bring that saturation. You can see how flat that is right there. So you want to bring that down and just increase the intensity a little bit more in that key light to make it a little bit warmer. But what may be causing this issue is your post process. It's the amount of light going into that camera also. And going back here, that might be what the issue is, Carissa. That is you just said that you couldn't get the post process work to work. If that is the case, I think it was you. If that is that might be what's causing that problem. Solely saturated.
Yeah, I
So
couldn't get it to work.
yeah, the camera needs the need to bring down the exposure. So once you get that post processing in, you can adjust that manually. You know.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, these are not bad. These are I was pretty impressed with the stuff I saw in Maya, and I'm pretty impressed with what I'm seeing here. You guys are gravitating to this lighting stuff a whole lot easier than some students I've had in the past. Um, you're trying, and I can actually see it here. The rest of you, I need to see it. You need to get your work in progress in. I told you, do not wait till the last second. Don't do that. Okay, so get your stuff in. Did I download back over here? Did I download Derelict Airfield? Okay, I have one, two, three. Let me choose one more. No, let's not. Let's just go and move on. So I have those three there. Okay. What I need to do is let's create a folder.
What'd you say causes those like rings around the like the meshes
It
with the
could be the
lights?
it could be the barn door. You could be pushing in a little bit too close. Or it's something in the settings. It's something in one of those settings that's how you're shaping. If you're using barn doors, it could be how you're shaping it. I will reset everything back to its default state, and then just play around with the placement of where that light is. Because it's wrapping around the sphere. So you can sort of see where it's going to wrap around one of the spheres, and it's going to give you that little ring. That could be causing a problem either with how the shadow settings are set up, or what the barn door could be doing that, or your placement of the lights. Okay. You just got to play this. This stuff takes a little research. 3-point lighting is very important. So if you can get it done, you can master it here. When you get other assets that you really want to highlight, and you want to start setting up your scenes to tell a story and all, it's going to be a little bit easier for you but it takes practice. Okay. Just do that a little bit more. You'll get it. Yep. Alrighty. So now go to the basic default. Oh crap. Do I want to save that? No. Yeah, there it is. So this is the one that when it comes in, it should come in like this. The only problem that I see is I have emissives on this thing, so I need to take those off or just create new ones. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to take these out. And I'm going to create, let me go ahead and show you that. And you already know how to create an emissive. At least you should know how to create an emissive. Let's go to the starter. Let's bring in a prop, not a prop, shapes. It could be any shape in here. It doesn't really matter. It could be that little capsule if you need to use a capsule, a piece of furniture, and call it, hey, sit on this little stool there. Let's put you in the corner. You're not coming through the wall. And let's take another one. Let's drop you in. Let's change that up a little bit. 90 degrees. Hard to see this. I'm going through the wall. Yes, I am. Okay. Go to maps. Not maps. Yes, it is maps. I just gotta let it catch up. I had a lot of crashes in Unreal last night doing the character stuff. So let me save all. Pros materials. It's gonna be on the materials. So I don't know why all these materials are in here, but that's fine. So let's create a few materials here. Let's go emiss _1. Create another one. Emiss _2. Miss 1 and miss 2. So 1 will go there. 2 will go there. I'll save all. Double click here. Let's make adjustments to this real quick. I'll do this on this other screen. So I only want the emissive color in there. Okay, so 3, color 3, drop you in. And I tell you what, let's do a multiply also. Let's because I most likely am gonna need to set up parameters. You all know this already for metallic roughness. And I think I want to control how much the power of the emissive. We can control the power of the emissive. Power. See if I can get this thing to work. May not need that. Let's go here. Let's go out to emissive color. And let's type in a 1 to add a parameter. Let's see, we're getting, let's play around. Let's make it purple. See what happens if I put in a value of 0.5. I may need to add a divide node to bring that down a little bit. Apply it. There it is. And save it. So the emissive is coming in. The only drawback is the power. If I take it to 1. Let's go 0.1. Let's put in 5 and a 5. I don't need. Let's just see what nothing's gonna really happen there, but A divide node will bring that down a little bit because I want to see more of the color, and I'm not seeing the color that I really want. So, but let's see about really making this thing saturated. See if that helps. No, it's not. So it's going to come down to the amount of energy that's going into that thing. Do I absolutely need that? Let's try multiply. I think the power is what's causing the issue. Everyone understands what I'm doing. You've gone through it, right? There it is. There it is. Let's apply it. I don't need that power. It's just gonna, that's overkill. Yes, that's what I want. Take the power out. So we can increase this thing up if we need to. 1, we can take it over 1 if we need to do that. Let's see if I can do that. Let's go to 2 or 3 or 4. So I'm getting that. Is what's happening. Something like that. So it's a little bit too intense. So I'm going to drop the value down. You're not seeing this right now, but I'm just going to drop the value down to, let's start it. Let's take it all out. I'm going to go to 0. And let's apply that. So we want to take it out. Yeah. And the same thing, technically, since I already have the emission, let's take this one out. And force delete. Right click here. Or just do Control D to duplicate. And now what I can do is just double click here. Coming back there. Change the color. So purple. Complementary color is going to be the yellow. Drag and drop it there. Let's test it. So going here, I'm going to put in a value of 1. Apply. Yep, it's working. Let's take out 0. Any questions? And this is working because Lumen is turned on. So Lumen is the whole global illumination thing that's happening, happening there. So using final gathering. So what final gathering pretty much is, what it's doing is, let me see, do that again. See current level as, I don't want to overwrite this one. This is going to be number 3. So what's happening with this emissive, what's happening with these images is it's shooting out a bunch of rays, and the rays are bouncing around the scene, and that's how we're getting this the scenes to be lit. Okay, pretty much that's it. All right, so let's go ahead and let's play around with this HDRI. All I need to do here, make sure I don't have one here. I don't. So I have a directional light I can turn off. And we'll probably turn that thing off and just play around. I have a skylight. Skylight, this is their default skylight, but we're going to, the HDRI comes with its own skylight, so we may not need to even use this skylight. So I'm gonna turn it off temporarily. And these are, we have the sky, the volumetric, and the height fog and all that stuff. You can play around with that as you see fit. So we have the environment and we have these shapes in here. So all I need to do is take the HDRI, drop it right into the shot. And yes, it's going to come in like this. And we can reset the position there just by hitting the location. And let's take a look at what we have here. We have a half sphere. See it? We have a little half, if I get out here, we have a little half sphere. We're going to change that. Just a second. So let's frame up. You can control what you see here. There is a, if you select the backdrop, or you select here the HDRI, see that little projection center? We can select that projection center, and then we can scale this up, and we can bring it down. It's just stretching the HDRI out a little bit. Okay, that's what it's doing there. I want to say you can select, we can reposition, see, we can reposition the environment too, but we're not going to use this one. All right, so I want to show you how to make a change here. But before I even go there, this is basically using what's called a cube map. That's how Unreal reads these things, through what's called a cube map. And when you select the backdrop, you're going to get, we can see the geometry, and see there's your static mesh, which is the half sphere. That's what this is being projected on. And then we have a skylight. So remember the skylight here, it comes with its own skylight. So we can start making changes here, just like that. So you technically can come in and you can change out your, from here, see right in here, we can make some changes if we need to the HDRI, but I'm just going to use the skylight. I want to keep this as simple as I absolutely can. I don't want to go into that much detail on how to add them here, but you can do that. You can add those things there also. So what I need to do first is, with the geometry selected, we need to turn this into a sphere. So I'm going to come over to the static mesh. So select geometry, come down, look for the static mesh, go into environmental dome, and then just type in sphere to search right there. And there's the sphere. We won't see it. It's fine. Okay. We don't need to see it, but it's there. And you can zoom out if you want to try to see that thing. I'll tell you what, let's adjust the speed. See, there it is. Okay. So the sphere is showing pretty much, we're projecting that environment onto the sphere. Even though we're seeing all this stuff on the inside, it has a lot to do with the element here for the material, that one material on there. But I'm not too concerned about that, just for this demo. We're going to come back here to HDRI. We're going to select the skylight, and this is what we need to make our changes here. So by default, you're going to get a specific cube map, and you're going to get a capture scene, and one of these may not be active. So see, the cube map here may not be able to, if it won't allow you to select there, that's the reason why. It's because you have it set to specific cube map. We want capture scene. All I need to do is go in and find my HDRI and look for the one that I specifically, whichever one that you want to use here, drag and drop it on. So let's take a look at one of the night ones. Where's that one that had, and I think I'm in the wrong one. There it is. So I may want to take these and drop them in there. So let's take this one and drop it right there. It won't. So I tried to drop it in there. See what it just said? It won't let me do it. So I do need to be on cube map. I'm sorry. So drop it there. It turns blue. So we know it's there because I can see it here. Now, that all of that other information in here is going to cause a problem. That it may have to do, see the skylight there is what we don't need. I'm going to turn off that real time also. And let's see what I need in here to get that so we can see that. Let's turn off the directional light temporarily. The sphere, this is my sphere here. Now we can try to go into this skylight, or we can try to go back over like I said earlier. If I select the skylight here, or the geometry, let's see where I can, where are you placed? I'm looking for the material. There's a material in here that I need to find, and it's only going to show me see it right there, that material, which is right here, which is right there. And the parent, I'm just double clicking on all of these. Here's the parent. This is how this thing is set up. So they may be sourcing out. You don't need necessarily, I don't even know why I'm showing you this. So we probably don't even need to be in here. But there is a way of showcasing. I need to turn off one of these. So one of these skylights in here, see that skylight is going to cause a problem. I'm just going to turn it off. But I need to see the overall environment because it looks like it's really overly saturated. Do we have any other lights in here? turning all of this stuff off for the time being. Yep. Now this is supposed to be a night scene, I thought. It looks like it says it's a night scene, but it doesn't feel like that. Let me drop in a different one. I think that's the problem right there. So the original HDRI still it's using this one. So let me drop in that night scene. If I can drop it here. That's not doing a daggone thing for that HDRI, the self. Real-time capture. Yeah, let's drop in a different one. So you see what it's doing. We can see something happening. We just can't see the overall environment, just like we did with the half sphere. So let me show you that. Let's just check something right quick. I'm gonna take this one out. And you kind of have to come up here. I hate that. And to delete it. And I'm gonna drop in that HDRI again. Yes. So here's the environment. Let's check to see if it changes. There it changes. I don't know what's up with the sphere. I think it has to do with the scale of the sphere. So we may have to tighten up. Sometimes you have to go in and you have to adjust the scale of the actual sphere so we can see it. So for the time being, let me just use this one. Stretch it out a little bit. This does not look like a night scene, does it? It does not. That one looks like a night scene. It's overly saturated too. It is too bright. Let me find one of the older ones that I have. Let's test one of these. There it is. That's a nice one. Okay. So yeah, I think it is. It does have a lot to do with the scale of the geometry. If I try to go back in to select geometry now again and then change this back to a sphere. See, everything goes away. Yeah, it's going to be the scale is what's causing that. So I'm going to zoom out. Let's turn on directional light so we can see real quick. I'm going to zoom out here. There it is. So I'm wondering if I need to tighten this up or bring it in. Let's just test it. Not the floor. Yeah, I'm still not seeing it. But I do know that that scale may have a lot to do with that. I think there's a scale option for the geometry in here somewhere. Yeah, I'm just bringing that scale down. Okay, yeah, I think something's going on. I'll figure it out and I'll get it over to you. So I don't know if it's a change here in Unreal. It could be a crazy, weird thing that they're doing, but pretty much I want to be able to see the outside environment because see here it's gonna be affected. But that is just on the overall. I'm just bringing the sphere in. I'm just bringing that sphere in like that. And I'll post up notes or create a video to sort of go back over that. I have older videos also from previous classes that I can share. But let's go back to the HDRI. So see, we dropped this one in. It's supposed to be connected to the overall environment there. Let me check the skylight because the skylight doesn't have one. Maybe if I drop this original skylight right there, I'm going to take that original skylight and see if I can drop it on, but I need to change it. That might solve the problem. No, it did not. But see, this is their skylight. I'm just not seeing the environmental dome skylight, which is fine. So let's go back here. We see that one. Now let's go to this skylight. You see there's two different ones. This one should be more is more visual based. So we want to be able to see it overall. And then we have attached to the HDRI, we have a skylight, which I will need to drop in. Change it again to cubic. There. Okay. But now, as you can see, all this other stuff is getting in the way. That's what I don't want. It's getting in the way. If I open up an older scene, let's save this right quick. And I'm just curious to check something because I've been having problems all freaking week with this stuff. With my Unreal. Yeah, it's the exact same thing. I can see the world, I can see what's happening, but I can't see it out here. And again, I want to say it has a lot to do with that scale. Okay, that's what's causing that. Yeah, but even with the direction turning the directional light on, I should be able to see the environment. Okay, but I think again it has a lot to do with the scale. I don't want to expand this out because I'm wondering if I know one time I had to really push this out. I think that's what may have been the case. Really had to push that out a little bit more, and it was the geometry. Let's reset that. Let's take the geometry. And it's not going to let me go past a certain number. You'll see it's resetting. So yeah, I got to figure it out. Something is going on. The static mesh does not have, see, there's the material right there. It's assigned. I can see that it's assigned.
I think I figured it out.
What is it?
You're using the wrong sphere. So I searched up sphere inverse normals.
Is it supposed to be environmental? You're saying it's supposed to be inverse? Because
Yeah,
it is inverted.
it shows the HDRI.
There
so,
it is. It
yeah.
is inverted. It is a sphere and it is inverted. So the normals had to be flipped. You're absolutely correct. Thank you. There is, I thought there was an environmental one. It should have been, we shouldn't have had this issue even with that sphere, but I think you are correct because it needed to be inverse. So the normals had to be inverted. Just like you do inside of Maya when you're doing these type of things. That little dome that we have inside of Maya, those polygons are flipped. So let's go back. Thank you for that. Let's go back. See, that's why I like this. See, the research, look that stuff up in real time. It helps. It does help. Let's drop that in. I'm going to use a different type of environment. Let me go back to here and drop you there. That's too saturated. It's fine. So here's what we can do now. We can go into the skylight and we can start making our changes here. Okay, so the intensity, we can adjust the intensity for the actual this skylight, but for this one, let's see if I can adjust it. See the intensity, I can bring it down so I can make it look, I can have it look like it is a night shot because it was overexposed. And it is definitely was overexposed. And if we have a post processor on here, remember that we do have the option of making adjustments in here through the camera. So the exposure there, I can make those changes also to the environment, to how much light is coming into this shot here. So let's go back. Was it 3? Don't save. Okay, so we have the HDRI. Let me go ahead and change that dome out. Inverse. Spherical inverse. There it is. Yeah, this one is a nice one. I was hoping for something a little bit darker. I don't like that one. That one's too bright. I'm just going to use some of the older ones here. Um, let's try cobblestone. Yeah, let me try that one. Still too bright. Courtyard. The bay we just saw. Used that one before. Yeah, I don't have any other than the rooftop. This is probably going to be the best one to use here. Skylight, check it, make a change to that one also, which it looks like it's already there. So we want to just confirm. So we're using the exact same one, and we are. So you can start playing around with the settings here. But there's your HDRI. I wish I had a better nighttime one. I do have one somewhere. It's called Starry Night or something like that. But I'm gonna, for the time, I'm just gonna leave it up to you all to figure out what you want to do here. And you can use whichever one you want. So give me a nighttime one, give me a daytime one, and all. So now it's just a matter of going in and playing around with some of the settings here. So like the intensity for the skylight, the light color. We can play around with that a little bit if we want to go with warm or cool or whatever. So if we try to come and pick, we can pick. See here, we can pick from the image here, and it should add a little bit of color in there, just a little bit. Shadow seems to be working pretty good, but we may want to go back in and make changes to the shadows. Also, we're casting shadows. Okay. Now, the skylight is where the information, all the lighting is coming from. The HDRI is showing us that information up there. So you see there's a self one, and this is where we drop the thing. So see what's happening. I can bring that down. You're noticing that the lighting is not changing internally here, which is fine. This is just for visual sake. So we can play with that. So if you're going to go in and you want to make some major changes, make sure you're on the skylight as you do this. So just play around here with some of the settings. This is how you learn. The resolution, and increase the resolution. That's 256, so 128 should be fine here. But the intensity, see, is now we're blowing that out, and we can take it out completely. So you kind of want to match this thing up the best you can. Indirect lighting intensity. Just play around and see what it does. There should be some shadow information in here. Now, what I like to do is I will blend. This is where I start blending the whole, and let's turn that one off. We don't need that skylight. This is where I start blending direct lighting and indirect lighting, because technically what you want to do here in this case is look at where the shadows are. If you have shadows in your environment, you want to look at the shadows. So we're being lit here, which means that this shadow should be placed in a totally different direction. So see, we got that light there, the directional light, and the directional light again is a sunlight. So I can bring that down, and I can come in and see, I can move the light. I'm pressing again, that's the Control L, and I can change the position of that light to sort of match it. It's kind of hard to figure out where it is, where that shadow actually goes. And here's the catcher behind that, the kicker. It depends on where the moon or the sun is. So you see the sun is going down here, so it is casting a shadow on this side, but we got artificial lights that are coming from all around this thing. So with the directional light selected, Control L, I can play. I may want to tighten up like that just a little bit. Maybe position it in this direction. Okay. And also with that directional light, if we can soften up the the shadows a little bit, that'll really help. So somewhere in here we need to look for shadows. See, me just do a search. Shadows. Ooh, can I make a change there? Is it off screen? Where's my? Can I change the colors of the shadows? I don't need this thing to crash by me doing something. Let me save. Save a lot, please. Yeah, just start moving things around. Shadowland. And that's supposed to make changes, but it doesn't seem like. So what you can do, let's turn that one off. And let's start adding some other lights in here. So let's bring in our rec light. Bring that in a little bit closer there. Basically I'm looking at this light source right there. Also the height of that light source. I'm just gonna sort of estimate. The average height of a pole is 13 feet, if I'm not mistaken. It depends. Some of them are 30 feet, some of them are 15, some of them are 13. But I can't tell if this one is it's going down on the other side of that wall. So I'm just trying to guesstimate. I'm looking at the size of the building, how tall that building is. But this is a simple room, so 8 foot, 9 foot ceiling. It's going to be about 9 feet right here, and then we have an additional. So this, what is this? That 18, something like that. So this might be a little bit too high. Let's angle it down. And with that light, let me sample the colors. So let's sample that color there. And let's increase the intensity. Let's play around with the scale. Let's turn off. Tell you what, let's go ahead and turn off. Where is it? The HDRI, so I can get some illumination in here. And I may have to pull this closer. There we go. We're getting it right about there. And I'm doing this just for the sake of casting. Let's add a little bit more lighting in here. Attenuation. Let's bring up the attenuation. So where I want to see where I'm casting that shadow. Let's turn you back on. Yeah, see the shadows now. So I think it's gonna be the direction, but the directional light is also affecting that. And I mean, not directional light, the skylight may be affecting that. So I see where the shadows are there. We have another one here. So let's duplicate you. Control D. Let's make a small little adjustment. What I need to do is I'm just going to bring it in a little bit closer there. This one looks like it's sitting up higher, a little bit higher. What I may want to do to the background, to this floor plane, is add a material there. Let's do a simple, if I can, basic floor to get rid of that checkerboard. Or if we can put a plane down, if we need to put a plane down, that's probably would be the best thing to do. This one also, this sphere here, the reason why that chrome ball is there also is especially if you have a day shot, it's going to show you the direction that the sun is in, so you kind of want to match it up there also. And we have one more on the opposite side. So this is similar to a 3-point light setup. Control D. Let's go to world. Just that angle a little bit. Let's go back to local. So we're getting something like that. Is it pushing light in the shot? A little bit. Yep, just a little bit, but we're gonna make an adjustment there. Is this all making sense to you now? Is it you understanding what I'm doing here? So again, we're using both direct light and indirect lighting. All right, let's bring in now. Let's start lighting the inside because I don't want to push too much light from the outside from these little lamps. I may want to adjust my distance here, but I really want to push some more lighting in here, not just from this one source. So we're going to fake it. So to fake that, let's bring in another rec. And I'm going to shape this thing. Frame up, press F. And now let's play around with the shapes a little bit. So expand and put that right down. I don't need to get it too close, but you see what it's doing now. Okay. Just need to adjust the colors. Now the colors that I want to use, I want to use both. It's going to be crazy. We'll use a warm light here for this one. Yep, we're pushing in that warmer light. It's too much. Let's bring it down. And let's adjust the intensity. So I just want to bring in a little bit of that lighting. The attenuation, we can back it off just a little bit. It's going to hit the wall. So I'm looking from here to there. It's going to connect to that wall. The only thing I'm not liking is how it's hitting here. So I may want to pull this light completely into the inside. Like that. And then readjust the settings there just a little bit. We don't need a barn door. We don't need any of that stuff. Attenuation, back it off just a little bit. Actually, let's back it off a lot. So we have that one there. I want to put another one here. So I'm going to duplicate that light and reshape it since I already have the settings. Bring the attenuation down and then play around with the width and the height. Let's go about here. Something like that. Since the door is opened up a little bit more, 2.5, and adjust the attenuation. Is there any color out here that I could possibly use that's reflective? That looks more greenish. We have green on this side too. We have that green overlay. And I may want to push a little bit of green into this room. Let's see if we go to the extreme. You got too saturated. So I'm pushing just a little bit of green into that space there. Okay. And let's look at the skylight. What we have purple up there. So let's take this light. First save all. Control D. Okay, respond. He didn't like something I just did. Press the Alt key and drag. Yep, it doesn't like something. I'll tell you what, let's bring in another rec. Okay, so are you working or not? Yep, seems to be working. I don't understand what's happening. Am I picking the wrong light? I think I am. Rec. That's crazy. Have to pull it out there. Any questions?
Yes, but I don't know if you have necessarily time for it, but I did the like the sphere inverse normals, but now I can't get the lighting to pop through
You can't get the lighting to pop through
from the HDRI skylight.
I'll tell you what, let me finish this and then we'll talk about it.
Okay.
In a second. Yeah, could be change your put a different HDRI in there.
Yeah, I
Start
tried
there.
that. I've been trying a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening there. This thing here does not like something. We're not limited to the number of likes that we can use. Give me a second. Let me move this one. Yeah, that shouldn't happen. It's like it's a geometry thing, but it's working. So I'm going to take this one all the way down. Let's select the color temporarily, and I'm just going to put a base color in here of one of this purple lighting there. And let's reshape this. Yeah, that's crazy. Suggest the attenuation. Let's get inside the room. Yeah, we're not illuminating anything because I don't have anything illuminated. I've turned that on a little bit. So some of that lighting is coming in. I think it's a little bit too much. And yep, let's drop this down to about 1. And since the color is a little dark up there, let's change and make it a little bit darker. Drop the saturation down. Yeah, that's a little bit better. There's no moon or anything, even though we have that. Let's take the directional light and let's change its okay, this is direction that is going in, but let's adjust its color. Try to get that sense of realism. So I don't want to go that intense because it's the light, that's the color at its source. As it drops off, it's going to go more a darker amber color, like that cloud. Okay. Let's go back here. Let's click it and let's make small little adjustments. Just going to darken that up a little bit. So without width. So the shadows, the black points, we don't have anything textural, just checking the exposure. So the black sphere is great for exposure. So I may want to go in and start playing around with the actual camera settings. The gray, we're getting good gradient tones there. Spotlight and the white, nothing is oversaturated. It's no, it's not blooming out. It's a little hot right there. That is from that backlight here. See, that's what's happening. I may want to back that off a little bit. Shift it down some. So we can see where all our lights are inside the environment. We have a light there. I just have to go to the other side. We have a light there. We have a light on that side. Directional light is for casting the shadows, which we technically should not have a lot of shadows. So I may want to go into that directional light and drop this down even more. Yeah. Now it's just a matter of trying to soften up the shadows and all for each one of these lights. But it's looking pretty good. It's not bad. Now let's go back and turn the emissives back on. So let's take a look at the first one. So seeing as though we have that purple coming in, let's put in a value of 0.2. Apply. Shouldn't take that long. Do not crash. Let me say this about lights. Lights will eat up your resources on your machines. It will, it's just will. This will is just a thing. The more lights you have in your environment, the more time it takes to process. And so you definitely want to make sure you're saving a lot. And I mean absolutely a lot. So if you don't do that, you're gonna run into all kind of issues. There we go. Let's adjust the color. Bring it down. It's not going to matter anyway. So this is where the problem's going to be 0.5. There we go. And let's repeat that for this one. Since the warm light is coming in from this side, let's go 0.3. It's really intense. I don't like that. Got 0.8. And that, ladies and gents, is basically how this is going to work here. Not sure what's happening with these lights. I have to look that up, figure out what's happening there. So just creating this, it's almost like it's capping me, it's limiting the number of lights that I can use here. But this is how it's done. This is what you're gonna do here, and then you're gonna go in and start playing around with other ones. So again, you're more than welcome to use your room, but long as your room has a floor, has a ceiling, and has windows, you should be good. I will allow it and all. Let's do a file, save as, save all. And I think what I'm going to do is, let me open up another one. Then I'll help you out with that last one. So let's go to number, which one is this? Number 3, let's go to 2. Let's go and select the environment. So you're saying you're having an issue with what exactly? Applying the HDRI?
No, so I've got the HDRI and it's just now the lighting doesn't work. Now it's black.
Check to make sure that everything is currently turned on. Directional,
I only
all
get
of
light
that.
whenever I turn on directional light.
It may be your skylight. Let's turn off red. Do you have real time on or off?
Off.
Turn real time on for the skylight, see what happens.
Nothing.
So your directional light, which here is my directional light. You having a miss of anything in that scene?
Nope.
Go create one right quick and see what it does if it's illuminating. Because if it's not illuminating, it could be something in your lumen settings that's
Okay.
causing that. Or also check your post processor to make sure that you have everything turned on correctly under your exposure. Manual exposure compensation you want to turn on, and then physical camera should be on. Let's check some of the advanced settings. We don't need any of this. Unbound, make sure you can say unbound to infinitely. You want this to be infinite, because if you don't turn it on, see what's happening, it's going to bloom. So make sure unbound is on.
I got that, yeah.
And your meter says manual, so now I can start up to just, because you may have it turned off. See, you may have the exposure compensation set to below -1 or completely off.
No, I mean, even when I set that, the light doesn't come through.
Take out the HDRI, create a new one. Make sure everything is turned on, directional lights, all of this stuff is on. The one light that we technically don't need is the skylight.
Okay.
You can turn that one off. That could be affecting the scene. I don't need it because remember the HDRI has its own.
Yeah.
Did you drop it in?
Yeah, I can screen share if that helps.
Yeah, do that.
So I got it in,
I got it.
and then I change it over to sphere. Then I go to the skylight.
Can everyone else see his screen?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
And so I've got the light in, and then whenever I turn off directional light, it just goes like that.
Turn it back. Turn it off. Go to skylight in that list. No, up the other one. Turn it back on. Let's see what's going on. So nothing is working there. So it may be something in your settings, your lumen setting. Why is there a star next to your HDRI back?
It's because it's not saved. So if I save it, it
Right,
goes
yeah,
away.
it's not saved. Okay. Enough is happening. Click on the HDRI backdrop again. See in the details list, go down a little bit to details or expand that up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, see skylight, click on skylight. Click that real time button. Let's see what happens. Nothing. So source, angle, resolution, distance, intensity. I think it's because your plane. This used to happen. Your plane may not be. What is this the floor? Did you create that plane?
No.
All right, select the background, the backdrop,
Mm-hmm.
and change it. See the location there. See the in the
Yep.
transforms. Reset that. Hit the reset button. Okay, so it still didn't work. It could be the scale also. This is what I was saying. That scale can cause a problem. So you may have to expand the scale. No, go
Oh well, the lighting
go
pops
in.
through.
Yeah,
there.
go in the other direction. Go take it all the way up to about 200. See, it's coming up.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
So it's the scale that causes that issue sometimes. Everyone note that because I used to have the exact same issue. I sort of hinted at it a little bit, earlier, that the scale of your HDRI can cause a problem. That's why I did that. So there you go.
Thank you.
Ready? So let's go. Let me see. Let's look at this. I just want to reiterate something. So that environment, geometry, just make sure we have that one select correctly. Sphere, so you can see everything inverse. There it is. Let's frame up. Let's just investigate, take a look at what we have here. So the lights, the colors are coming from my background. So I'm looking at the cloud. I'm not looking here. I'm looking at these, not the clouds, the sky. So I'm pushing blue through in that direction. I think I'm trying to push a darker blue. Can't look up a darker blue, which if I'm not using a darker blue, I probably should be. Color from the top side. That is a lot of blue coming through that area. And I don't need to adjust the attenuation. The blue, some blue coming, coming through the door, which in this case, that should be not blue, but yellow. And then I have the emissives in here. These emissives here. Let's go find the materials. There they are. Double click just to check it real quick. Exact same type of setting. So we have a color coming through. We have a parameter assigned to a multiply, and I'm adjusting that based off of it. So the environment, we see the environment, and again, you can come in or go in and adjust the intensity of that environment. So we can bring that down. It's not going to affect the overall scene. This is just for your benefit. You can see everything there, but if you want to start making changes, we need to do it from the actual night, the skylight there for this environment. And I'm looking here to check to make sure that I am seeing something is coming through, it's being reflective, and we can start playing around, see the exposure, overexposed. Carissa, this is what I was saying earlier. You may be in your camera though, you may be overexposed in your camera. Is what I was saying. So when you're testing this, when you're looking, when you're studying, look at the shadows. Notice, I can't tell if that is the concrete or this light there is really pushing long shadows here. And this light is pushing long shadows there. So what I may want to do is add some additional lights here and one on this side to do that crossing over of shadows, which wouldn't be a bad idea. The directional light is doing some of that for me, but the problem is I may want to change that directional light color. It's going to completely take that out when I do what I'm about to do. That. See it? They took it out. That's a little bit too intense. It's too saturated. So let me drop it down. Let's increase it up just a tad. So now I know I want to get more lighting in this shot. And again, this is something that technical directors, they have to do. You will need to learn this process. The light though, depending on where the light is, I want to simulate that the lighting is going to, I want to match the shadows there, which technically means that I need to do this. The lights need to be on this side. Up and down. Let's adjust the intensity. Let's adjust the attenuation or the fall off. See if we can push that shadow. See, I'm looking now right there at that shadow. And the attenuation is going to cause that little slight issue there. This is the wrong shadow too. There it is. So temporarily, it's hitting that corner. So I'm sort of getting what I want. Look at the placement there, see it right there. It is at an angle because of where that light is illuminating down from. It's going to push that corner out just a tad bit. So I see it there. And then let's go to warm color. That amber color there. And come back and just keep playing around with what you and hey, play around with the units also. You do have lumen, you do have some other options in here. You can look it up and play around with those. That's part of your research. Start looking that stuff up. We can use a source texture, which is called a gobo. GOBO. We don't have a texture in here, but you can. You know how sometimes when you're outside and you see the lights going through trees with leaves, and the shadows are projected on the ground. We could do that. That's through an effect by adding a texture. That the official term for stage and film is called a gobo, GOBO. But we don't need to have that because if the light was coming through the benches though on the ground, we could put some railings, some objects in here to sort of exclude and prevent that light from going through like that. Temperature, we don't need that. Casting shadows, indirect lights. See the intensity for the indirect lighting. You can make adjustments there, and you see what it's doing. You can sort of see it here. So as I'm playing around with that light source, see the lights are coming up and down. That is the indirect lighting intensity. So you just want to play around with some of this stuff here. Just have fun. Let's go check the post-process volume. Overexposed, underexposed. Now that nighttime shot, this is not going to work. We don't see any detail. This is where you have to have a color checker. If this was real life, you want to use a color checker and you want to use this little sphere. See how dark that is? That's not good. And it's matching up here. We're losing detail. I can't see the details in the background. So because of that, you want to make these fine little adjustments. Still a little bit too dark there. You can see it from the shadows up here. So things are a little bit too dark. Okay, I kind of want, it's not matching here. I can make out the shape of the sphere there. So you just want to come in and play around a little bit. So this is overexposed a little bit now, too much. And I just want to bring this down just a little bit. I still want to make out what's in the background, but I can make out that shape. So 0.5, these are steps. So on a camera, you have what's called f-stops. I can adjust the f-stop and the shutter speed to get my exposure. So the f-stop, you have a bracketing system. Sometimes when they create this thing, they can bracket by 5 spaces, 7 spaces, 9 spaces, depending on your camera, how good it is. So if you're going to go out and shoot your own, which this stuff has gotten a whole lot easier, you can now go out and get a 3D camera. Those 3D cameras, handheld cameras now they'll do all the work for you. So you can create your own stuff because they use a fisheye lens, which is a little bit easier. So we have that one there. We duplicate it. Now we have this one there. So see, I see a shadow there. I want to push that shadow. Yeah, there it is. I want to push that shadow to the other side. What I need to do is adjust. Can I see the shadow? No, I cannot see the shadow anymore. I need to adjust this attenuation. And the intensity. So there you have it. Any questions? What we take off? Daytime, nighttime. Daytime, nighttime. That's what I want. Cool. Everyone understand the assignment? That's what you do. That's how you treat the HDRIs in your environment. Next week, that last day, we will look at rendering. Again, when you want to take a screenshot of this stuff, press the G key to turn off the light templates or the icons. You can technically come in here, maybe for the HDRI also. We can turn this one off, but look, we're losing this if we do that. So leave it on and go hit the little hamburger meat little icon up there. And take a screenshot. I showed you that higher resolution screenshot and post up your work in progress. All right. And make sure you get those notes. Those notes are due. So any notes that I'm giving you, add them to your notes. Do your research on setting up this HDRI. If you've done research today to solve a problem, like we had this little problem, go add that to your notes. Add all that stuff in there. You should be good. Any questions? Nope. Give me a second.
Not right now. No.
All right, we're done. Go have fun. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
good
you
one.
for the semester.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Yes, you can use your own house. Yeah, that Caden, that's what I was stating earlier. You can use that. Make sure you just have a ceiling, floor, and windows, 4 walls, and all that stuff. So you can play around with the lighting coming into the room. But yes.